Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode 24 of Sitting
Kobe Bryant.
Courtside, the Kobe Bryant, the Mamba episode. As always, my name is Dante, and I am joined by Jerry. Jerry, how are you doing this morning? Are you ready to talk some hoops? Ready to talk about some NBA action here?
Absolutely, man. You know how we roll, man. Another fun, jam-packed episode that we have for everybody today. And of course, we get to spend some quality time together talking basketball.
That's
So,
that's that's just the best part. Highlight of the week, if you ask me.
oh, how sweet.
Well, Jerry, I'd love to sit here and flirt with each other and, make each other smile and giggle, but let's jump
Yikes.
into the biggest topic of the week. Last week, we talked about some NBA players going off and dropping 70 points, 60 points. Well,
Yeah.
we have another one. Luka Doncic drops 73 points just a few days removed from Joel Embiid dropping 70. Luka, 73 points, 25 for 33 shooting, 8 for 13 from 3, 15 for 16 from the free throw line. I can't confirm this. I thought I saw this, but I'm pretty sure it's the most efficient 70 plus scoring game in NBA history. I thought I saw that somewhere. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on it. But this performance, this is kind of like with Embiid. When it happened, I saw it on social media. It was like, oh, Luka's going off. He has this many points. I turn off the Celtics game and I put this one right on because I had to watch it, dude, and it was wild. The dude was hitting almost everything. He was making defenses look silly, making it to the point where people were posting clips and being like, "There's like no defense." People are complaining about the defense, all that stuff. We can talk about. But Jerry, just give me your initial thoughts on Luka scoring 73. Just this is getting ridiculous. It really is.
Like to give you my what I was looking at the time when this was going on, like where was I when this moment happened? I was at the Hornets game, you know, doing my job.
The best place you
And
could be.
the Hornets are losing by maybe a walloping. I want to say like 20 plus points or whatever it was in the third quarter. And out of nowhere, my phone just starts blowing up with people texting me like, yo, you watching Luka? I'm like, no, I'm watching the Hornets get their ass beat. But what I do, take out my laptop,
Of course.
set
Put on
everything up.
that Wi-Fi, that arena Wi-Fi.
Get to where I need to be to watch Luka, destroy the Hawks. But
Of course.
I mean, like, first initial reaction is just this is ridiculous. I think I texted you the same night. Like,
You did.
we need to talk about this, obviously, on this upcoming episode. But when is somebody going to drop 100? Because 73 on the most efficient clip possible, more efficient than Kobe's 81-point game or any of the other 70-point games that we saw from Embiid, Devin Booker, Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell. Luka's just manipulating the offense to do whatever the hell he wants, and the defense,
Yeah.
which is just goes to show, yes, it is easier to score in today's game. Yes, the spacing in today's game is also pretty ridiculous to give you stretch fives or have power forwards play the center just to stretch the hell out the floor. So, I mean, we're watching everything in real time. It's like just getting inflated. Inflation is legit.
Basketball's evolving.
Yes,
That's just
it's
how
the
it is.
perfect way to put it. Like everything we're going to see numbers-wise is going to be ridiculous. It's going to be crazy. So it's only a matter of time until we do see somebody actually get to 80, break Kobe's record, which will kind of hurt my heart, but hey, the game's in a good place. And then after that, eventually get to that 100-point mark. Like it's inevitable at this point.
Yeah, I think years ago when this question would be asked, is someone going to score 100? Even I would be like, probably not. Like, you know how hard that is to do. And even like nowadays, like Wilt scored 100, but there are people out there that are like, where is the video? Where's the evidence? So what did he do? You know what I mean? We need the clip. We have the box score, but we need the clips. So there's already people that are like, oh, no one really scored that many in the game. And it's like now modern day NBA. And I think DeMar DeRozan tweeted it, or someone tweeted someone's getting 100 this year before the season's over. It's just, and there's this other graphic again. Don't quote me on it. I wish I had it in front of me. It was like the amount of players that have scored 60 plus over the last few years compared to the last 30, 40 years. Like there's more players that have done it in the last handful of years than in the last 30, 40, which is, like you said, it's a testament to how the NBA is changing, spacing, all this and that. Now, will someone score 100? I'm at the point now where like Sure. It's like basketball, NBA's any given night where it's like someone can just be feeling themselves one night and just can't miss. And just then if a game's close, it can go into overtime. That's the thing with like Embiid and Luka is that these games were close. That's
Yep.
why they were able to get to that point. Like the Hawks game, it was like almost a one. It was like 5-6 point game through most of the fourth. So Luka was playing most of the fourth quarter. It comes down to scenario, like just I wouldn't even say matchup, but just how you're feeling, how the score of the game is. But I do think someone will do it. Who it will be, I don't know, but I do think it's possible.
Yeah, no, I mean it has to be just like we both are harping on like what the trajectory of the game is like. What direction is the game going in? How much more are we going to see from a defensive point of view where the like hand checking rules and all this other stuff is already taken out?
Right.
Where the game is wide open. And even though they
Mhm.
made some of these rule changes to kind of help out the defenders, like, oh, yeah, if they kick their feet out, that's an offensive foul or
Sure.
whatever it is, or
Sure. Hmm.
too much contact towards the paint. I don't know. Obviously, it's ticky tack fouls nowadays where guys do shoot 20 plus free throws, which also
Yes.
help out their case.
It does help.
But
It helps the numbers.
I guess the question I have for you here before we do like kind of get into the other nitty gritty of this, who's it gonna be?
So
Like, who would you put your
I was
money
just gonna
on?
ask you that.
Yeah,
I So me and my friends were talking about this the other day, and there's like, I mean, it depends on how you want to look at it because you can look at it like a 3 point shooter, like Steph Curry that just hits 23, like breaks the 3 point record and just like goes crazy and just can't stop
possible.
missing. Then you got guys like who just like Joel Embiid. You can kind of go off the whole like he can get 30 free throws in a game, or he can just do another like close game, can't miss whatever. And then like Luka Doncic. I mean, we just saw him score 73. I think Luka probably would be the guy that I would put at number one just because of his style of play and like he's able to hit threes like crazy, get to the free throw line, controls the pace of the game. Also almost had a triple double that game. I want to point that
Yes.
out too. If people were watching that game, Tim Hardaway Jr. was missing some wide open threes that Luka was giving him. He definitely could have had a triple double that game. But I mean, and then it's just you can list off like I feel like a handful of guys that can do this. Like maybe not Giannis, but Lillard can go off one game and do it. Devin Booker can go off one game and do it. It I wouldn't even put it past me if someone like Trey Young maybe could go off one game. I really don't think it's like there's multiple guys that I think have the ability to get hot enough one game to at least be getting close to that mark. And as we've seen the last few years, I think we're getting closer and closer to someone really putting up numbers that we haven't seen since Will or since Kobe even.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, I think
I'm
I'd
curious who
probably
you would
agree with
pick
you.
because I like again I can think of a few different names and Kyrie Irving is another one that could do it. It's like all these names keep popping in my head that could have a chance of doing
I don't think there is a wrong answer here, but
it. Hmm.
honestly, I probably would have went with Luca, but for the sake of being different, I'm gonna go with the wild card. I'm gonna give you someone that went way back in high school. I remember having this conversation about who could possibly get to Kobe's record.
Hmm.
Whatever, like we saw like LeBron 61 against Charlotte and Melo's 62 or whatever that he had like
Yep.
back in the Garden. I think at that time I said I could see Anthony Davis doing it, and I think I'm actually pull that card back out because there is a zone where Joel Embiid didn't even hit a bunch of threes.
He
It
hit one
was
three.
like 20.
He went
It
one for
was
two
like
from three.
yeah, exactly. He took two of them.
Yep.
Anthony Davis isn't a high volume 3 point shooter. Sometimes he does settle for the mid range in years past, but this year he's really putting a lot of pressure on the rim, getting a lot of low post looks to the point where I can see that just adding up, or it's just like we're spoon feeding Anthony Davis
Right.
because he can get to the line as well. So I
What's
think
his
that's just
career
going to,
high?
I don't know. I think it's like 55,
Let me
54.
let me let me let me fact check that.
It's, I think it's really a matter
59.
of 59.
59. Yep.
Awesome.
There you
I,
go.
I think it's just a matter of like him just getting the ball constantly, and he has to start off the
Yeah.
game really high. I mean, that's the case for all these guys most of the time.
Yeah.
So
I
I
mean,
can kind of
Cat.
see that being the case for Anthony Davis, where it's just we're in a tight game because obviously the Lakers aren't playing that great right now. Where we need big performances out of our stars to win these things. So I'm just going to go off the wall here and just say Anthony Davis. I think
I
anything's
like
possible.
that.
Again,
It's like you said, it's a matter of like having having the ball in your hand the whole game and just like being in control and like being the one that's taking all the shots and stuff. Like he needs to have that Embiid type of role in that
yeah.
game to be able to get to that point, which is possible. Like we said, there's no shortage of players that we think that have the ability to do something like this. It just comes down to the right time, the right game, and the stars got to align. But
Yeah.
it's possible. It definitely is. Moving on. Well, actually, no. Let's stay on this really quick because there's one quote that I wanted to put out there. Jason Kidd said this. I don't know if it was right after the game. It was a little bit after the game. He said Luka Doncic is better than Dirk Nowitzki and on the same level as both Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Really giving him some high praise, saying that he is at that level, just talent wise, how good he is. Obviously, better than Dirk Nowitzki, Dallas Mavericks standpoint. I want to kind of like, what do you? Obviously he's not. In my opinion, he's not the same level as a LeBron or Jordan. I mean, that's just kind of. I get what he's trying to say, but that's kind of a ridiculous thing to say. What I do want to ask you is, do you think that when his career is all said and done, obviously, who knows what happens between now and then? Do you think there is a world where he is in that conversation? He's sitting at that table. He's amongst some of the best players to ever touch basketball.
I mean, you know how the story goes. It's all about what have you done in this
Mm-hmm.
league? How many rings, how many MVPs, whatever it is. Right now, he has neither. Not even a finals appearance. He has a
No.
Western Conference finals appearance, which is pretty dope for him to, basically drag that group over there with Jalen Brunson and
Yeah.
a younger version of Porzingis. But I think I think he could get there. But it's really we're like in what, year 4, year 5 of his career, whatever it is. I
Mm-hmm.
think year 6 actually.
Sure. It's something
Year
like that.
6.
Yeah.
Um, where he doesn't really have anything to show for it but a couple of All-Star appearances, an All NBA team,
Yeah.
and that's about it right now. But
Mm-hmm.
the same could be said about what we've seen out of LeBron earlier in his career, where he didn't
Take some
exactly
time.
have the best team
Yep.
success, and we're all wondering, wow, is he a bust? Well, the guy's still averaging 28 plus a game and carrying a bad
Just
cast.
had like 36 and 20 last week. That's 39 years old. Crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, it
it's
takes
kind of funny
time.
how this
I
goes.
think it's
Exactly.
like again, I said it, I get what Jason Kidd's saying. Luka just had a 73-point game. He's his head coach. I get it. But be realistic. I do think that there is a possibility, there is a world where that happens. A lot needs to happen. Like you said, that's about what have you done? He hasn't done anything yet. Granted, it takes a while to start
It's
doing some
early.
stuff,
It's
so
early
it's
in his
early.
career.
It could happen, but too early to be banking on that. That's for
But
sure.
maybe Jason Kidd meant at this point of his career, whenever Jordan and
Compared,
LeBron were there.
hey, if that's what he meant, then I understand that a little bit
I'd
more.
agree with him just because of
I
the stat output, Luka's responsibility for his team. He has the keys. He's the focal point, head of the snake, all of that. And he's
yeah.
averaging 30 plus, and he's done that
He's
for the
averaging
second straight year.
34.7 points, 8.6 assists, and 9 points. All right, 8.6 rebounds, 9.6 assists this season, and he's not even top 3 in MVP voting. Just
I can see why
insane.
Jason Kidd would say that. I could.
Yeah.
I really could.
hmm
It doesn't bother me that much,
No.
honestly.
No. All right, let's move on. We kind of talked about him a little bit. Let's talk about your LA Lakers, Jerry. Let's talk about what's going on. Hey,
I'm good.
listen, right now they're in the play-in. What are they, the ninth seed right now, correct? And a lot of it you have to thank D'Angelo Russell because D'Angelo Russell has been on a tear the last few games. Since January 13th, they had a game last night and he didn't perform as well. So this is not counting the game last night, January 30th. Since January 13th, though, in 8 games, D'Angelo Russell has averaged 27.5 points, 6.5 assists, shooting 42% from the field and 54% from the 3-point line. 6 straight games of 20 plus points. And we're at the point now where DeJounte Murray, a package might not be able to come together because of how well D'Lo has been playing. Trade value is all over the place right now. Jerry, I'm going to stop talking because I see you over there. What do you got to say? Do you have anything to say to D'Lo? Flowers to give him? Thank
I
him?
don't. No. I have nothing nice to say about what we're seeing from D'Angelo Russell, a guy that we already knew had this type of talent to produce like this. It took a couple of trade rumors for the second straight year during your career, 2 straight years of his career,
Uh-huh.
where it's like, wow, they could actually move me. Because he did something similar in Minnesota
Yep.
before he was shipped off to LA,
Mm-hmm.
where now I need to play a little bit better. I don't know where I'm going to end up. He ends up in Los Angeles, where he never even wanted to leave originally, where he was drafted.
Yep.
But when he was here, the first stint, he didn't play too well. He didn't play too hot for the number 2 pick. He leaves, goes to Brooklyn, has an all-star season, gets bounced around to Golden State because of Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant doing all this dumb shit and blah, blah, blah. And now look, he's back in LA, long story short, and it's the same type of situation where balls to the wall with the GM breathing down my neck. I know that if I don't play well, I'm out of town. So for
Yep.
me right now, this is just a fluke. This is a nice, fun couple of weeks. But what can you do when the lights shine the brightest during the postseason? It's like when you're at the club, right? Clubs over here in North Carolina close at 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Once some lights come on, you see everybody's imperfections. So, what are we going to see?
You don't got to go home, but you got to leave, right? 2 a.m.
Yeah, because I mean, like, look at you. I thought I was talking to a beautiful woman. I thought I was dancing with some chick with the fat old shit,
Hey,
man.
that
Like
Henny,
the good
that
stuff.
that Henny was talking. That Henny was was
It
was out
was
in
in the
full
dark,
force,
in
and the
the
dog
dark,
was
and,
barking. The dog was barking too.
and then once some lights came on, I saw what I was looking at. So when them postseason lights shine, which
You're gonna
version
see,
of D'Angelo
you're gonna
Russell
see
we gonna see?
D'Lo for the ugly chick that he is.
Yes, and I believe his playoff averages, I threw him in there, is like 14 points a game, 4 or 5 assists a game, and 3 rebounds.
Hey, that's good. That's on the money right there. Yeah, big step down for what he's been averaging the last few games. So, what does this alter anything with what the Lakers do at the deadline, like D'Angelo Russell's performance? Like, does this make things easier for them? Worse? Because you'd think that, like, with this performance, you'd be like, oh, teams would be willing to take him now. But is that the case? What do you think?
Given Rob Pelinka's history, Rob Pelinka has been duped. I think he will be fooled. And I think he will hang on to
He will be
D'Angelo Russell.
hoodwinked.
He would. He like it's gonna be I want you. This is actually
Uh,
pretty like hilarious because as a GM, your job is to evaluate talent and figure out how to maximize the guys on your roster, but
yep.
also add the right pieces to help maximize them even further.
Yep.
I don't know if you saw last night after the Lakers lost to the Hawks. LeBron was cut off mid-question when asked about like what the team needs to do. And he said the team needs to do their job if they do that and blah, blah, blah. He was about to say something else. And the Lakers PR pulled the best move of their PR season by cutting LeBron off and saying, all right, guys, that's all we got. And LeBron said, it's a good thing you cut me off because I was about to, meaning he was about to unload and let us
Damn.
know how he felt. Then he
Damn.
posted a cryptic tweet
He
at
did.
2 a.m. Eastern
I
time.
saw that. What is LeBron
2
doing?
a.m.
Yeah, he's up. He had a lot on his mind.
Like
Yeah,
it's
no, I didn't see. I didn't see the interview. I didn't see the interview part. Didn't Christian Wood tweet something too? Didn't he respond to something like LOL? I didn't really read into it much, but
I don't know. Just know. I'm gonna let you have the floor here. I've been talking for a while, but just know,
no, I love it.
no man in LA is safe except for Anthony Davis.
Even
That's it.
LeBron. Even LeBron.
Well, LeBron. When I say LeBron, I mean that's the real GM. LeBron and
Yes.
AD
Oh, all
are
right. Fair enough.
untouchables.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair
But
enough.
everybody else, Austin Reeves, Christian Wood, Rui, whatever. Fair game. It should be open season. And LeBron probably called Rob that same night and said, what the fuck am I doing in the twilight of my career? I thought you said you could help me win my 5th.
Hey, that was the deal, bro. That was supposed to be the deal. Someone isn't holding up their end. Yeah, I don't know what the Lakers are gonna do, man. I really don't. I've been seeing all these like different trade packages online. It was like like a few guys packaged together for like Bogdanovich, Alec Burks on the Pistons. There were trade packages with there was just so many different things going on. Trade deadlines in a few weeks. There's all sorts of rumors and players being thrown in the mix. Who's going to get traded? Who's not? the Lakers are definitely a team that need to be active at this point. Like they're the 9th seed in the play-in, but the way that this roster is constructed, not built. I don't think they're built to make a solid playoff run. They definitely need to get something done. Um, do you have any predictions? Do you have any like players you think that they're going to get, Jerry? Do you think DeJounte Murray is even like a realistic option? Because one trade offer, the latest trade offer that I saw on Twitter was, if I pull it up really quick, for DeJounte Murray, it was D'Angelo Russell, rookie Jalen Hood, Shafino, thank you, and draft compensation. Do you think that's enough to get DeJounte Murray? Do you think that's even worth it?
I honestly hope it is, man. Like, I don't really know what to expect at this point. Like, to Rob Pelinka's credit, he did a great job last season. Turning around, getting Rui, getting Mo Bamba, getting Jared Vanderbilt.
He made great moves for the team last year. I mean, they made the run, so I mean, it worked.
Yeah. And he did the perfect thing to actually put those pieces around him. Now, those pieces looks like they're expiring. I'm not really feeling like the fit right now. And most of it is because of D'Angelo Russell. But in order to get somebody else, you got to give up some of those pieces that you acquired last year. The one guy that I would be hurt to pry from at this point would be Vanderbilt because of the defensive versatility and because what he brings to the game I really like. But we need a third star.
Didn't something happen to Vanderbilt last night? Did he get like bitched at or something? Did something happen?
That was 2 nights ago.
2 nights ago, okay.
In Houston, with Dylan Brooks.
Yes, that's what it was. That's what it was. I remember.
It's definitely to the point now where I definitely know I've known for the last 4 months that we needed a third star, not just because we're LA.
Austin Reeves isn't the third.
We
star.
know Austin Reeves is ceiling.
They're only trading him for an all-star level player, bro. That's the only guy they want in return for him.
I'm done. I'm done.
All right, let's move on from one team right now that's figuring their own stuff out to another team that has some shit to figure out, and that's the Miami Heat, who are on a 7-game losing streak. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. A personal relationship that I am most proud of is the one that I have with my mother, because growing up, she taught me not only how to love myself, but most importantly, how to love others, and that has helped me build relationships throughout my life. A common misconception about relationships is that they have to be easy to be right, but that's not true at all. The best relationships are the ones where both parties put in the effort to make it work. Oftentimes, we have a hard time navigating through tough moments, and that's perfectly fine. Good news is we have access to therapy as a safe space to work through the challenges that we face in all relationships. On and off the court, you might find challenges and pressures in relationships with your teammates, coaches, and friends. You will likely be dealing with conflicts, expectations, and emotions that can affect your performance and well-being. Therapy can help you cope with these issues and improve your relationships. Trying out therapy can provide you with a safe space to express your feelings, thoughts, and concerns. Therapy can also help you develop skills and strategies to communicate effectively, resolve conflicts, and manage stress. If you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, convenient, and very accessible. Become your own soulmate, whether you're looking for one or not. Visit betterhelp.com/courtside today for 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/courtside. Now back to the video. 0-4 since trading for Terry Rozier, and here I am last week talking about how I think Terry Rozier is like, they couldn't get Mitchell, they couldn't get this guy, they couldn't get this guy, but they got Rozier. I thought he was going to make them better. Still could, but as of right now, not looking that great. 7-game losing streak. Also, want to point this out. I'm not the type of guy to be like that believes in this type of stuff, but they are 0-7 since Udonis Haslem did talk about Bill Russell and had that whole thing that set the internet on fire for a little bit. I'm not the one. I'm not the type of guy to be like, oh, that's why they're losing. But it is ironic that is when they started losing. And then Terry Rozier, and I want to bring this quote up because it kind of somewhat involves you. Rozier says losing in Miami is different than losing in Charlotte. It's the total opposite. In Charlotte, you're kind of used to losing. It's in the DNA. Over here, it's the total opposite. Nobody wants to lose. Nobody is fine with it. That's fucking mean. That's just dirty, bro. Talking about your old team like that in their DNA.
Is rude. Wrong?
No, I'm not. No, listen, he's not wrong. He's not wrong, but that's dirty. That's dirty business.
It definitely is a little fucked up to put
A
that
little,
out,
a
put them
little
put
just
them
out of
on blast.
listen. Listen. You're losing over here. Don't need to bring up your ex. She's out of
Yeah,
the picture. She's gone. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But so yeah, the Heat are on a 7-game losing streak. They have dipped a bit in the rankings and the standings in the NBA. Guys just haven't been playing well. They've been talking about, the whole culture part about how, guys can't get content with losing and this and that, like guys getting too comfortable, whatever. Right now, they're still the 7th seed. They're still in the play-in. They're tied with Orlando, who actually slipped a bit as well. Even with this dip, like they're definitely still going to be, a play-in playoff team. I don't think that's going to change. But do you think, like, with what we're seeing from them here, that they need to make more moves, or do you think this is something that they're just 7 games is like a bigger sample size, but is it enough? Is it concerning enough where they have to go out and make these moves, or should they just figure it out? They just have to give it some time.
I still think they should be active in the trade market. I
Mhm.
definitely think they could always upgrade their roster. It's not
Right.
exactly
It's not
year
perfect. It's
after
not a
year,
perfect roster.
and it hasn't been really for the last 5 years, even though they've made it to 2 NBA finals in that span, you
Yeah.
know?
Hmm.
But they always make the most out of the least
They
that they
turn
have.
shit into
And
diamonds,
gold.
into
Yes.
gold, or
Yes.
yeah, gold diamonds.
Yeah.
Sometimes diamonds, but mostly
Yeah.
gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
I really don't think it's a matter of like where we should really be panicking. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably be at a 4 or a 3.
Mm,
I'm not really too concerned about what
I'm
they
with
do
you.
during the regular season. Kind of like when I look at the Lakers situation, it's ugly.
It's
It's not going that great,
yeah.
but I don't
Isn't it
think I'm
crazy to
actually.
Isn't it crazy to think that the Heat are kind of at that point where it's like the regular season doesn't even matter? That's been like that for the last 5 years. Like the regular
Yes.
season doesn't matter for Miami. They could be the 10 seed in the play-in and they still will make it. Like that's yeah.
Like
Hmm.
it's definitely a matter of I understand where some of these talking heads on TV say you don't want to set yourself too far back in the competition where you got to play catch up and play through all
Hmm.
the tough teams. They wouldn't want to
Right.
play the
Right.
Bucks again in the first round or the Knicks
Or
in the
do
second
they?
and the
Or do
Celtics.
they? They
Who
might. They
knows?
they
Who
they might
knows?
want that.
Yeah, but
But
like
yeah.
you know what I'm saying,
I
don't
know.
you?
Yeah, I know. I know what you mean.
You
Yeah.
want to be able to control your own fate and have at
Yeah.
least some type of home court if
Hmm.
possible. I get what like guys like Kendrick Perkins or Chiney Ogumake or whoever else like says these things about the Miami Heat. But personally, just right now, it's basically February. It's January 31st at the time of this recording. I'm not super concerned. And they have about 9 more days to make another move, possibly if they want to, which they might. Since
Yeah.
every team is going to be active in this trade deadline, I see some big moves coming, maybe.
I
But
mean, in all
nah,
honesty, any team in the Eastern Conference should be active, especially if you're not named Milwaukee, Boston, or even Philly, because
yes.
those are the top, those are the top tier teams right now, and all these other teams like the Knicks, they made a great move, and they're under that tier. They're there, but they're still under that tier. You got a few teams that are just right there that need that one more move or two more moves to get to that point. And Miami could be that team.
Right.
They traded for Rozier, so they got a head start, but is there more they have to do? I'm with you. I wouldn't be that concerned if I was a Heat fan or if, even in the Heat organization. It's a slump.
Yeah.
It's 7 games to 7 games. It's not fun. But when was the last time we saw this team go on a slump like this? I'm sure they'll figure
Last
it
year.
out. Did they go on a little losing streak last year? They could have. I could be wrong completely.
Last
But
year, they were in a position where they were teetering in that 6 seed range. Then it was kind of a weird taper off where they somehow ended up in that 10th spot.
and guess what? And they still made the NBA Finals. So even proving the point even more. Even when they do go on skids, they figure it out. So I think they'll be if
See,
this keeps going, if this maybe gets to like the double digits,
we
maybe
could be
then
content.
there's a discussion. Maybe there's a talk. Maybe we're getting to Pistons territory.
Let me
Um,
just say, nothing's that bad. But let me just say, let
hey,
me
they've
just
been winning
say,
some games. Hey, that I might be wearing a shirt by the end of the year.
you
They're
are.
winning
I'm telling
games.
you. But before we move on from this Heat topic,
Mm,
the Heat is that bad woman in the club that when them lights do come on, they
it's like
still look
damn,
fine on South Beach,
damn, yeah.
baby. I'm
No
not worried about it.
taxes. No taxes, no nothing in Miami. It's the best. Doesn't get better. All right. Next topic. We have the return of Ben 10. Ben Simmons is back in Brooklyn since November, I believe was the last time he played. It's just I feel
I
bad for the
honestly
guy.
forgot about him.
I hate to say it, but I also we saw a tweet a few days ago, it was like Ben Simmons is inching close to returning. I was like,
Oh,
that's right. And he still does play basketball. We were
yeah.
hyping him up in the offseason. He came back and he was doing like relatively good. Gets hurt again.
Yep.
So he returned last night, and all respect to Ben Simmons. I like Ben Simmons. I wish nothing but the best for him. Came back, finished with 10 points, 11 assists, 8 rebounds, 5 for 5 shooting, in 18 minutes off the bench. Really good first game. They blew out the Jazz by I think 30 or something like that too. So it was a really good win for the Nets in general.
Yeah.
That Ben Simmons, I mean, I mean, what do we? I mean, what do we got to say about it?
I mean,
Is he gonna stay healthy? I mean, is he gonna play next game? We
I
have
don't even really. I
go
don't really
ahead.
even know what to say about Ben Simmons. I mean,
We have a few questions here, but like, what is there really to say? You know what I mean?
like you said, congrats to Ben Simmons on a
Mm-hmm.
successful return. A good, efficient game, near
Yeah,
triple
very
double.
efficient, very efficient.
I think what I really want to talk about with Ben Simmons is we just talked about a lot of sellers in this upcoming trade market.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's a target that some people might want. He's still a versatile threat, offensive end and defense. He's a playmaker, and he can guard your best 1 through 4, possibly 5 on some nights.
Sure.
So, who should trade for Ben Simmons is the question.
How much is he still making? 30-something million dollars?
Oh yeah, baby, I believe so.
Yeah, then probably not many teams. Yeah.
Hey, Charlotte, give up Kyle Lowry's contract. Send him to Brooklyn, baby.
Yeah, I can see. I can see like a team. I can see like a lower end team doing something like that. Yeah, we've talked about this. I still think Ben Simmons has something in the tank. I still think he has something where he can not replenish. There's a whole lot to replenish, but I do think that he can recover from all that's happened the last few years. He's not going to get to the point or hit the potential that everyone thought he would like be the star everyone thought he was going to be, but he can still end up being a very good NBA player. I do think that there are teams that could use a player that adds what he does. Not a shooter, but he's a great playmaker, a great finisher, and a phenomenal defender. That's true. That's facts. When he was healthy in Philadelphia, I was over here saying that he should be winning Defensive Players of the Year. I don't know if he's ever going to be back on that level, but I do think he can be a very good piece to some team. What team that may be, I don't fucking know. It's just like I want him to succeed. I just think right now is I don't think he's going to get traded. I just don't think there's any team that's going to want to take that contract and what he has right now. I wish he didn't get hurt, because I think if he was healthy all this way through, then he could have, had more showing of teams trading for him. But I just don't think there's enough sample size where a team's going to want to risk or take a chance trading for him, in my opinion.
No, I mean, I don't blame you. I mean,
that's just from like a business. I think teams could benefit from him, but I just don't know if a team would want to
pay him.
Whatever the trade would be, it's so much uncertainty with him.
Yeah, no, like I absolutely agree. I mean, that's really the main reason why we kicked off this segment. I don't really know what to say about Ben Simmons.
Yeah,
I know the talent's still there. Like, I mean, clearly he's not going to be that guy that gives you 20 plus a night, but he could average a triple double damn near just.
He could. He really
15,
could.
12 and 12
minutes. He almost had a triple double. He was 2 rebounds away. Yeah.
So I feel good about like what we could see from Ben moving forward. It's a matter of health.
And he's also like, he's only 27. He's not like,
damn.
He's not young, but he's not old. He still has like good years left in him. So this is the time. Don't even get me started. I get depressed when I think about, happy early birthday, Jerry. But I get depressed when I think about how I'm like just same age as these NBA players. It really just like, whenever I think of Jason Tatum and how he's 2 months older than me, I want to cry. It upsets me so much.
Imagine being in the
But
locker room with them and kind of realizing it's like, oh, like we could
dude,
have been. We're in the same high school class.
yeah, dude, we were in the same math class together.
It's
Oh
just
man,
crazy.
it is. All right, last topic for today. The NBA announced the All-Star starters this year, 2024 in Indianapolis. For the West, we have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at the point, Luka Doncic at the 2, LeBron James for his 20th All-Star appearance, the captain at the 3, Kevin Durant at the 4, Nikola Jokic at the 5. Now in the East, we have Tyrese Halliburton starting at the 1, very well deserved, very happy he got that nod. Damian Lillard at the 2, Giannis Antetokounmpo at the 3, so a little teammates there, a little duo action. Jace Tatum at the 4 and Joel Embiid at the 5. Now, Jerry, going over those lineups, is there anything you would change? Anyone that you would take out, plug in, replace with, or do you think this is a good lineup?
Yeah, I got two names that I'd actually
Okay.
take out. One for each conference.
Okay.
I know LeBron is the king, the namesake, but I was convinced by Stephen A. Smith on this point that if it wasn't LeBron James, he wouldn't have been, voted
I'm
as a
very happy
starter.
that you're saying this because I agree. LeBron, I think he should be an all-star this year
Yes,
as the
but
captain, the starter. Oh, I don't know.
yes.
That's
His
we're stretching
teammate,
it.
his teammate Anthony Davis, who's averaging 26 and 12, has played a bulk of the games so far
Mm-hmm.
up until he's been out the last game because of some
Right.
hip and back soreness. But it's been consistent. Put the day-to-day Davis nicknames to rest. The street clothes, whatever you wanted to call them. Playing consistent, playing good basketball. I think he should have been voted as a starter. And then out
Yep.
in the East Coast, Jalen Brunson should have
Yep.
been a
Thank
name
you.
over
Thank
Damian
you.
Lillard.
Thank
But
you.
again, it's namesake, it's name value,
Namesake.
and
It's
no
value.
disrespect to either Dame or LeBron, obviously, but
No, of
literally
course not.
Brunson and Lillard's numbers are like literally super close.
And but you look, I get it. Milwaukee's the better team. Look at what Jalen Brunson has been doing for New York. You take Jalen Brunson off that team, they're in the bottom of the
Yeah.
barrel in the
They're
East. They are.
struggling to be 500 without Jalen Brunson.
They
Guaranteed.
Jalen Brunson is everything that New York has needed for years. He's the best player that they've had since Carmelo.
Yes.
You can like argue with me if you want, but like that's at this point, like I'm convinced that this is the best player that they've had since Melo. Damian Lillard, he's having he's having a great season. That like you said, this is no disrespect to either of them, but like you just want to talk about rewarding guys. Tyrese Halliburton got rewarded. He's putting up crazy numbers, but he's getting rewarded. Look what he's doing with Indiana. Jalen Brunson should get that same recognition for New York.
I agree.
That's my biggest thing. And like I think it's kind of funny too, because like for all these years, Damian Lillard could not get the starting nod in the West because there was just so much talent in the West. And the second he comes over to the East, he's a starter. No disrespect. I'm not trying to come off as like he doesn't deserve it, but like there are some other players. Not some other players. There's one other player in particular that I think very much so deserved it over Damian Lillard. But at the end of the
Donovan
day,
Mitchell,
guys like
potentially as
Davis,
well.
Donovan Mitchell's not. People were pissed Steph didn't get the nod either, even though I do believe it. Shea and
That
Luka that's the
that
right
doesn't bother
too.
me. That doesn't
People
bother me.
that's people that are mad that Steph didn't make it because of name value. Because they would have put him over Shea because Shea's the younger guy, but that I think you were right. The one replacement would be LeBron for the West, in my opinion, and Lillard in the East. But they're
Absolutely.
going to be all stars
Either
anyways.
way.
So it's just they're not the starters. But that stuff, the whole starting, we talked about this before. Like, there's just a whole lot of like fan voting is still a big part of it and stuff like that. So it's really like Brunson, all these guys got the votes from their peers. The reason why Brunson didn't get the start was because he was so low on fan voting. He was like 6th or 7th in guards, which is kind of embarrassing. Like if you're a New York fan, like you gotta send your guy to the All-Star game.
Hey man, I literally just watched him, bust the Charlotte Hornets ass a little bit ago. got to have a conversation with the dude afterwards, and he's
No.
just super chill and composed. It's like I just think that it's a matter of him not getting the love, especially with seems like WNBA stars like to attack Jalen Brunson, saying he can't be a 1A or he can't be the
Oh
best guy on
yeah,
a championship
yeah.
team. So that
I,
definitely takes some digs and hurts the resume to get to
and
that
even
starting job.
I will say though, in the last since they announced the starters, Brunson has been on a absolute tear. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but his numbers over the last 10 games have
Yeah,
skyrocketed. He's definitely had a few chips on his shoulder this year between just like being the top guy in New York, having all that New York media, to what you were
mhm.
saying about being the top option, and then being kind of snubbed from being the All-Star starter. Jalen
Hey, look,
Brunson's been he's
it,
he's backing it up though. He's really backing it up.
and the Knicks have the best record since 2024 started. I think they
Mm-hmm.
only lost like 2 games or like
Since
15
getting
and 2
OG, they've been one of the best teams in the NBA.
because their defensive efficiency jumped
Yeah,
up.
they're
Like,
insane. I think OG's like third in Defensive Player of the Year voting right now, which is
it's well deserved.
deserved. Yeah.
Now it's just a matter of like, same thing. How are they going to look whenever the lights come on, come postseason time?
Hmm.
You have your guys. Are they going to make any more trades? Maybe they're just setting themselves up to get a star in the offseason. We talked about this before, but
Yeah, yeah.
the Knicks
The
are an
Knicks,
interesting place to watch. They're a fun team
they
to watch. Probably one of my favorites, honestly.
they are they're kind of like in an interesting spot where they can go one way or the other. Like they can make a move that really sets them apart and puts them into that upper tier that we were talking about, or they can fuck it all up and they can
Yep.
stay right where they are and stay in the middle of the pack for a few years. So they have a lot on their plate over the course of the next year, this trade deadline and also this offseason. The Knicks are definitely going to be a team to watch moving forward. And I think that's it, Jerry. I think that's all we got today. Do you have anything you want to throw in before we sign off here?
Uh, go Chiefs, man. Super Bowl coming up in about 2 weeks or so. I'm really,
Fuck the
I'm,
Chiefs.
hey man,
Fuck the Chiefs. Fuck the Niners. Most boring Super Bowl. It's boring.
wow.
I don't care.
I kind of understand where you're coming from. I really wanted Baltimore to win.
I did
Um,
too. That was my choice. I
but I
thought
mean,
Baltimore and Detroit, bro. Oh my god, that would have been such a fun
the,
Super Bowl.
the
That would have
NFL,
been
the
so
NFL could have
fun.
had that, man. The tailgating in Vegas
They
would have been
they
crazy
had
with
the
Detroit and
script. They had
Baltimore
the
fans.
script written out before the season started. They couldn't go back on it. So
Absolutely. I
mhm.
mean, but now at this point, I'm just pulling for a dynasty.
No,
Go catch
I'm with.
Tom Brady.
Listen,
Go do it.
listen.
Go ahead,
Mahomes and the
Mahomes.
Chiefs. I will say, I'm not. Well, I am, but if you're, I'm not giving you any gambling advice. Do what you want with your money, but the Chiefs are underdogs on Super Bowl Sunday.
Yes, which is
I,
ridiculous.
I just, we're at a point where like I don't care who they're playing, where they are, rain, shine, snow, thunder, sun,
Whatever,
doesn't matter.
whatever.
If they're underdogs, I'm not telling you how much to put down, but they put down a lot.
I,
Yeah,
I'm going to put the
yeah,
San Francisco 49ers
hmm
secondary is garbage.
yeah.
Ass cheeks, can of bounce that ass, whatever the fuck you want to say about their
it's
secondary.
it's going to come down to whether or not the Chiefs defense
Yes.
holds up the Niners scoring. That's really going to be
That's
the biggest thing. The Chiefs are going to get whatever they want. Yeah, I'm.
and that's the best defense in the league. Steve Spagnuolo, the Chiefs DC, showed that he could play against any type of quarterback after what he did to Lamar last week, thinking he could be an all-time great passer and made him not use his greatest asset, his
Yeah,
motherfucking legs.
legs.
So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
uh I'm interested to see what the defense will do against Brock Purdy in that system, but they have a Hall of Fame running back, they have a Hall of Fame tight end, and George Kittle
Mhm.
possibly, and Debo Samuel's is nothing to fuck with. So
That's true.
should be a fun
It'll
game.
be it'll be a good matchup. It's just would
I
have been
got you.
nice to see someone different. That's all.
Hey,
But
I'm with you.
maybe next
100%.
year. Maybe the script will be different next year. We'll see what the logo is with the colors, and we'll see if there's like some different tints in there, so we can kind of make our predictions beforehand. But thank you guys so much for watching. This is episode 24, the Mamba episode of Sitting Courtside. If you are listening to this on audio platforms, make sure to give us a like, 5-star rating. We appreciate that a ton. If you are on YouTube right now, please make sure to like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. put in the comments, just talk with us, chat with us, talk, if there's something you want to say about this episode, you have a question in general, or you have a suggestion for us moving forward, put it in the comments. Make sure to check out our shorts content, our gamified content as well, because we do play a lot of fun games and trivia stuff here that you can find over on the shorts. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, sit in Courtside, look us up. You'll find us. The growth over the last few weeks, a few months has been awesome. So I also want to thank you guys for just supporting us with what we do. We're really seeing a big surge here, and we're looking to put out the best content for you guys. And we appreciate you for sticking along, giving us words of encouragement, and checking us out every single week. And I think that's it, Jerry. I'm out of breath. And that's it. So
let's go.
Let's go until episode 25. Peace out, guys.